This is the history relevant to me. This is the history they don't teach me in school. This is the LESA case. Before 1949, New Zealand was owned and controlled by Great Britain. There were no New Zealand citizens during this time. The people who lived in New Zealand were called British subjects. This included Polynesians. New Zealand had taken control of some Polynesian islands, NIUE, the Cook Islands and Tokelau. Along with the Māori of New Zealand, were all recognised as British subjects under New Zealand and British law. And from 1924, Samoans were too. This meant that those born in the islands were British subjects. In 1949, New Zealand began to break away from Britain. New Zealand law changed all British subjects into New Zealand citizens. This meant that those from the Cook Islands, NIUE, Tokelau and Samoa were now some of New Zealand's first ever citizens. Fast forward to 1982, the height of the Dawn raids. Thousands of Polynesians are being deported from New Zealand. Polynesian workers arrested and sent back to the islands because they were not New Zealand citizens. So they thought. One who was deported was a brilliant Samoan woman by the name of LESA. In 1982, she took the New Zealand government to court. She argued that according to New Zealand law, all Samoans, whether they were born in Samoa, New Zealand, were in fact New Zealand citizens. By deporting Samoans, the New Zealand government were deporting their own citizens. At the High Court of New Zealand, Whalemai lost, so she appealed. At the New Zealand Court of Appeal, Whalemai lost again, so she appealed again. This time, she went all the way to London and to the highest court in the British Commonwealth, the greatest legal minds in Britain, the Privy Council. And there, she won. The Privy Council agreed with her. They said what the New Zealand government was doing was illegal. The Privy Council ruled that every Samoan born in Samoa between 1924 and 1949 was a New Zealand citizen, and their children too. The ramifications were huge. This meant that thousands of Samoans had been illegally deported. This also meant that overnight, an estimated 100,000 Samoans were now automatically New Zealand citizens.
Hi, New Zealand! I'm coming!
New Zealand Prime Minister Robert Muldoon and white New Zealand panicked. Not only was New Zealand going to get a lot browner, but the illegal deportation of New Zealand citizens meant a lot of compensation was going to be paid out by the government. So, Muldoon and the National Party went to work and passed the quickest law in New Zealand history. Never before has a law been made so fast. Only 1 month later, the New Zealand government, with the help of the Labour Party, passed the Citizenship Act 1982. And the sole purpose of this law was to overrule everything the Privy Council said. Samoans born before 1949 were now not New Zealand citizens. The funny thing is, though, Section 5 of the Act says Whalemai LESA is a New Zealand citizen, but only her. For the rest of Samoans with her same circumstances are not. In 2003, over 100,000 New Zealand citizens signed a petition to get rid of this unfair law, but the government ignored them. To this day, the law is still in play. Remember, the law is not what is fair. It is simply whatever the government wants. The law is as fickle as human desire. 1 minute, you're a New Zealand citizen. Next minute, you're deported. Trust no one, not even the law. This is the history relevant to me. This is the history they don't teach me in school.